Right. Should we talk in general about extra credit before we tell them how to do it?
Sure, go right ahead.
Oh, okay. So extra credit is hated by some and loved by others. Sometimes it's the students who are most in favor of extra credit. So let's talk in general about extra credit. Extra credit are points that are applied to a student's grade in a particular category or overall uh, for a variety of reasons. Some instructors do this as a way to gamify their class, so they add extra credit opportunities in as a way to get students to do additional things in the class that help them perform better, which is, I think, a valid reason for using extra credit. Some instructors really hate extra credit, though, and some students do too, because if you're the kind of person that thinks about grades as a little bit of a competition, there's really no such thing as extra, right? If you want the maximum everything, and there are students out there that are primed that way, that means you have to do every single extra credit. There's no such thing as extra. Everything in the course has to be done. And if the instructor's intent is to provide incentive for students who are underperforming to do extra learning activities in order to learn better, then really you're forcing the student who has that mindset into doing work that perhaps they don't need to do. And the main reason that people seem to not like extra credit is because it can complicate the grading system. As an instructor, that's kind of where I was. I felt it was complicated. What I did when I was teaching was there were some assignments that I allowed students to submit more than once after I provided them some feedback. The idea was that it allowed them to raise their grade, but using a task that I'd already planned for the course, an interaction, an engagement that I'd already planned, but helping them to understand, one, how they didn't perform to the level that they wanted to, by giving them feedback, and number two, by helping them re-engage in that learning activity in a way that was planned in the course and help them gamify, help them feel like they leveled up or improved their performance. So no matter where you are in extra credit, if you're going to use extra credit, think about the intent. Don't use extra credit just as a mercy point, helping a student who's failing get to that passing grade by giving them tasks that really aren't relevant to the class or really aren't designed to help that particular student learn the content and achieve the objectives of the course overall. Try to make it always focused on helping that underperforming student do something that will help them bring that performance up to the standard that you set. So that's all I really think I'd say about extra credit. Now, maybe Sonia can tell us how to actually do it in Canvas.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So if you do have that extra credit need and maybe a differentiated instruction for a student who has an assignment that maybe they just need it in a different format and you want to give them the opportunity, I'm going to go to the course here. And how you could do that is you can make a new assignment. Can everyone see my page? I hope so.
Yes.
Thank you. You go to the module view, and I'm just going to add it here. So in your grades, you can see all your students. It's a little slow right now, but your students list will be over here, and then all your assignments will be up at the top here. So in this first module, that's where I'm going to add this. You can add it wherever you'd like, but you add an assignment by clicking the plus. And assignment is usually the default. So you can have it be an extra credit quiz or discussion, or I'm going to choose assignment. So I'm going to create assignment. I'm going to call it extra credit. And add the item. So here we have extra credit. Click on it, choose to edit, and you add the title, then you add discussion or add the directions. So I'm going to say do the extra credit just for the sake of not typing a lot here. this is where you would give them, the directives on what to do. You'd have it be 0 points. And this assignment group, you can make an assignment group for extra credit, but I'm just going to keep it in the assignments for now. Display as points. Do not have this checked. I'm going to keep it no submission. There's online, on paper, external tool. There's those options, but for extra credit, keep it no submission. And of course, the dates, if this were a published course, you would add the dates there. And you could require peer reviews, but to keep this simple, I'm not. And then I save and publish. So now we have this extra credit assignment. And if you go into grades, you would scroll over to find this extra credit right here. It says 0 out of 0, but you can go in and manually add the points. So I'm going to give, let's see, let me give Samuel 20 extra points here. And since we don't have any grades on Samuel, you can't actually see the percentage changes, but that is how you add it. And then it will change the percentage later. And that's how you add it.
If you already have assignments that you would like to group and kind of weight them in an extra credit bucket, how could you do that?
I would go back into I'm gonna click here. If you go back into your assignments, and here's my grouping. See, this is in the extra credit grouping. You could add another group. Uh-oh. I just created a new assignment. Instead of a new group, you'd hit plus for the group.
Okay.
And then you would add an extra credit group and put what your percentage of it is. And then, of course, it'll be all the way at the bottom. So I'm going to move this to the top. My computer is really slow right now. I'll just drag it instead of waiting for it. Normally you just tell it to move to the top and it'll move to the top, but it doesn't want to listen to me right now. So then you would move those items into that extra credit group.
Oh, okay. So this, because I didn't migrate my stuff yet, so it's still kind of new. So when you create that group there and you move those assignments in there, that's not necessarily the order the students are going to see it pop up for the week, but it's the way that I'm kind of doing the settings or the setup for the grade book.
Yeah, Ryan, could you explain how this kind of translates from what Moodle looked like compared to what Canvas looks like? The assignment grouping?
I can try. So assignment grouping in Moodle is done in the gradebook. And it functions two purposes. One, it groups grades for purposes like weighting, but it also impacts the way your grade book is viewed. So it groups things together in the grade book. In Canvas, grouping tasks and assignments, graded items, happens in assignments, which is completely weird for those of us who are used to Moodle. So it happens in assignments. And its primary purpose is to group grades for the purposes of grade weighting rather than for display in the gradebook. The gradebook has sorting and filtering features that allow you to move things around and group things around as a view, but otherwise it just appears as a spreadsheet view. So the primary difference is where you do the grouping, assignments instead of the gradebook, and the purpose. Canvas seems to kind of remove the importance of doing grade grouping in terms of how you see the grades in your Canvas gradebook.
Okay.
All right, so this is a 2-hour session. You guys can come and go as you want, put questions in the chat. We'd really like the questions to be put in a discussion group in the course. That way we can keep track of them and make sure that we do cover everything that's asked. And we'll try to get through everything today. And as I said, don't feel you have to stay here for 2 hours. We are recording this. And the things that we have to talk about so far, that I'm going to go over that real quick. The items that have been asked of us so far to discuss today are let's see, grading discussions that have multiple posts required, including posts that are responses to other students' original posts. Let's see.
I can take that one.
Okay.
Grading discussion forums in Canvas is terrible compared to what Moodle had. Moodle had the ratings, which allowed you to rate or grade each post as you read them. That was one of my very favorite features in Moodle, because when I was teaching, one of the things I hated the most was grading discussion forums, because as a teacher, through the period of the discussion, I was active in the discussion forum, reading everything. And then at the end of that week or whatever that period of discussion time was, then I'd have to do the grading, because I wasn't smart enough or organized enough to keep a spreadsheet on the side and grade as I went through. So then I would have to go back and reread everything and, kind of re-engage, and then assign points, tasks, and things like that. So in Canvas, you don't have a rating system like you have in Moodle. So you're going to have to come up with a different way of grading your discussion forums. Here's what I finally ended up with back in the bad old days when I didn't have ratings. And that was, instead of rating and grading every single post that a student made, I turned it around, and at the end of the grading period for the forum, I required students to submit an assignment to me that covered the discussion forum. And my thinking there was I wanted to make the grading of the forum partially on the student. I wanted to make them aware of what they were being graded on, and I wanted them to have some agency in how they were graded. I wanted them to also compare their performance with other users. So to do that, and it was served the purpose of having them re-engage with the topic by reviewing what had happened in the discussion forum. So the assignment parameters
I'm
were.
going to stop sharing if you want to share your screen, Brian.
No, I don't need to share my screen for this.
Okay.
But it was kind of simple. I asked them a series of questions to which they had to provide a response. First question was, how did this week's discussion forum connect with textbook readings, outside readings, and other activities related to the topic of the discussion forum? So in that, I'm asking them to synthesize their understanding of how the discussion forum, the topics, the conversation connected to the other materials in the textbook or other materials in the class that were related to the topic. And I felt that was a good high-level summarization process that moved the discussion forum away from just a pro forma, I'm going to answer the questions, but also required the student to demonstrate an understanding of what else they were learning from in that particular topic. Second question was, what was your very best post this week and why? Again, this is a higher level of performance. I asked them to evaluate their own performance. Then I asked them, what was the very best response or post from any other student and why? And here I'm really asking them to do a back channel evaluation of their work compared to other students. So they had to provide what they thought was the very best post, and again, evaluate it, explain why. And then the last thing that I would ask them is, how did what you learned in this discussion forum change you or add to your knowledge set as a student or as someone who is going to be active in this particular discipline? And again, that's an application process, part of Keller's ARCs, that is a way to connect the discussion forum to the relevancy, or to help make it more relevant, and to put that application like this. What I learned this week applies to what I'm learning about this topic or this discipline, or in many cases, what I plan to do in the future. and I can demonstrate that kind of connection. So then what I would do is I would accept those assignments, and then I would grade those responses rather than trying to grade the discussion forum. The one other thing that I did add was I did put minimum post requirements. So I would go back through and make sure that every student had made the minimum number of posts or satisfied that kind of requirement. So that's one way that I found to do forum posting, and of course you can modify that any way you want to. Forum grading in the absence of a rating system that allow you to rate or grade each post as students make them.
Okay, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay, this is Carol. I'm the one that's having trouble with this, and you probably know what I'm having trouble with, like you said, the ratings. And I'm sure you're familiar with when and I appreciate your response, but it changes the assignment for me, and I'd have to consider that.
Sure.
It would take a little while. So the issue, and you know it, I'm sure, is when I go into the discussion, everyone has to make an original post. Everyone has to respond to two others' posts as a response. So when I go into the discussion, I can either view the discussion, which doesn't allow me to assign points, ratings,
right,
or I can click on, or bring it down in SpeedGrader, and I could go to each student and it brings up their posts. So I see their original post, which is great. But when I see their responses, I don't see what they're responding to. You know what I mean?
You lose the context.
Yes.
Yes.
So from what I've heard from you, there's not a way to do it, which is why you've changed your discussions to, you have a discussion, but then you have an assignment, which I don't know if I'm crazy about yet, but I'm definitely going to take that into consideration. So right now, seriously, all I'm doing, it's not the right way to do it, but I haven't figured out another way, is I just read their response. I've been doing this discussion for years, so I kind of get it. I kind of get what they're saying and what they're saying it about. So I give them the points, but it's not good because I can't see what they're responding to. In fact, I can't even find it easily because I don't know if there's a place to click. You know how in JetNet you could also click on a student, not their profile, kind of their profile.
It was in their profile. And
okay, and you could go to discussion posts. Yes. And so you could see where their post was, and you could see the original post. So, yeah. And I have a couple of discussions like that, and boy, I hear what you're saying. You have not found a way. You're saying there's not a way.
Right. The forum tool in Canvas doesn't have as elegant a solution. So the other alternative that I could offer is to, and I've done this before, I don't know. So I just would take a printout of the roster, and then as I read the form each day, I would hash mark. Made the original post, check. Made a follow-up post to another student that met my criteria, check. And then each day I would just add to that, and then that would be the points that I would submit for that grade item in my grade book. It's not very elegant, but that's the other way to do that.
Right.
You can do it in a spreadsheet and be more organized.
You're right. That's the only way to do it, because another thing I ran into was this was an experimenting. If you have 5 points for each post, you can't give 5, 5, and 5, and JetNet would add them all up. You have to give everything.
Yes.
I have to find all 3 posts, and then I can give the 15. Well, I don't have to find them. They're under each student's name. But anyway, okay. I liked it when you said there's not an elegant way to do it.
I have not found one yet.
It's all over the place, little sticky notes.
Carol, have you tried using SpeedGrader for discussions?
I do. That's what I
am
using.
So what I've done is I've downloaded the mobile app for the instructor, and I find that grading discussions displays a lot differently using SpeedGrader on the mobile app.
Is that right?
Yes, and I actually just sit back and I kind of enjoy going through the discussions, through the discussion stream, and you can grade it right then, and it shows a longer discussion, like in a stream, more than it does on the computer, which is very
Oh, I did
odd.
not know that.
Yes, but I really enjoy it much more.
Wow, I've got to check that out right away. Thank you so much. I didn't realize there would be such a I mean, I know the
Difference.
mobile app is convenient, but I didn't know there would be a bonus to it.
Yeah, well, I can't really say too much for the mobile app as far as grading, because you can grade it, but you can't look at the grades on the mobile app. So I'm afraid to suggest that, just because you can't go back and see what you did. You'd still have to go onto the computer. So
Mhm.
using both of them together is the best option, I believe. So I can go back and look at the grades
Oh,
on the computer, but I can grade the discussions better for the mobile app. If there was anything for the instructor on the mobile app, I would say grading discussions. Other than that, it's pretty much useless. Sorry to say that in a recorded video, and I'm so pro Canvas, but that the mobile app isn't all it could be. For the student, on the other hand, the mobile app is amazing. But for the instructor, the only thing I've found useful is the grading discussions.
so let me just follow up with one final question, then I'll let y'all move on. So when you're on the mobile app, will it add ratings? Will it let you rate each discussion? Add the
It does have like a slider, but it's not a rating. It's more of a grading.
Okay.
So yeah, I understand what you're saying, how the rating has like the up and down arrows in Moodle. This has more of a slider instead of an up and down arrow, but it does give the same type numbers. So say that the rating is 1 through 10. It's actually 1 through 100 on the mobile app. So
All right. Okay, you've given me a couple ideas, both of you. Thank you.
yeah. Okay, let's look at what the next item was to be discussed. If you guys have anything else, I haven't checked. I haven't checked the chat. I will here in a quick second. Let's see.
I have a question while we're on grades.
Okay.
I wanted to know how am I able to see all of the students' grades? When I click on grades, I just see individual mastery, but it doesn't show me where the students are currently right now in the course.
You want to see all of them at one time in one screen?
Yes, I wanted to see every student grade right now.
Okay, so if you click on grades,
Okay.
and my computer's a little slow, don't know why, but you have the students' name here and then the grade per each assignment here. I don't know if you can see my mouse
Yes.
or not, if it's showing. So my little like squiggly line, you can see it here. So you can't see, we found, you can't see at the end. You can see the total number here, but you can't see, what was it, the percentage that you can't necessarily see. But if you click on one student, you'd be able to see where they are.
Okay.
And
So show her how to do the sort.
oh, I can't even recall how to do the sort. What are you talking about, the sort?
So in your view, you
Mhm.
have different views or a different way of sorting it.
Mhm.
So you
Oh,
can arrange it that way.
Mhm.
Under gradebook, you have the
oh,
learning
the
mastery,
view.
which I think is the view she's got right now. And then you can go to an individual gradebook
So
history or
is
the
that under
grade view.
this?
Yeah.
Okay, so learning
So if you go to
mastery.
learning mastery, I'm thinking that's what she's seeing right now.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I'm
So
seeing, but I
yeah,
don't see all of the students' grades at one time.
Oh,
right.
okay.
So you
That's
need to go back to the spreadsheet view, the grade view.
Grade view.
So over on the right hand side where it says learning mastery gradebook, if you click on that,
Mhm.
No,
I'm
down a
so
little bit.
lost, I'm not able to show you.
Click on the words Learning Mastery Gradebook on the right-hand side of the
Oh,
screen.
that's a
Click there.
drop down. Got
Yeah,
it.
and then you
So
can go
good.
to individual or gradebook history or gradebook. So go to
Got
gradebook,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the individual view. Go to gradebook right
Mhm.
there. That's the
Okay.
view I think she's looking for.
Ah, see, that didn't even look like a little drop down to me. So, okay. So I've only actually looked at the grade book, didn't go too far.
Yeah. And then the trick that I have found is if I want to see the grades for an individual student, like that student sees them, I right click the student name and then open in a new tab. Then when you go to that tab, you're seeing the grade displayed much like the student sees them.
Okay, so by doing it this way, it still doesn't show me currently where the students are. It's giving me assignments that aren't graded yet.
If they're graded, it would
You would
have
see the
a
number.
here.
Yeah. You'll see the grade when the grade
Right.
is applied.
Right, so I'm following the way you're doing it. I'm following along, and they have on Canvas, it has stuff that we're not even doing yet. So it's not showing me previous assignments that were graded already. It's showing me ahead of time.
Are you able to slide this and go
Mhm.
back? And you
Mhm.
don't see the items that were graded?
No.
Mm. Do you possibly have it so it's not set as a graded assignment?
I'm not sure I
So
understand your question.
if you have an assignment, it could be an assignment, but and it'll look like it's an assignment, but if it doesn't have a grade set to it, let's see if I can find an assignment.
What course are you working
STEM
with?
140.
I'm sorry, SIM 140?
Mm-hmm.
What assignment is that? I think I'm gonna just go to the sandbox. That way, there's no students' names shown.
Where it says Ebony Watson.
Yeah, but there's students in your course, so I'm afraid to show their names.
I'm looking at it, and since I'm not sharing my screen, no one will be able to see it. So when I look at your grade book right now, Ebony, I see your student names on the left, so I'm in the grade view, and I see course pack pages 20 through 22, and I see numbers for each student in your grade book. So it's we really don't want to share grades for individual students in a recorded video like this, so I can't show you. But if you would like, after this is over, we could meet with you privately so we can share your screen and figure out what's going on with your display, so that you'll be able to see the standard view.
Okay, do you know what time that will be? Because I won't be able to stay on this whole time.
Just tell you what, just email either Sonia or me and propose a time that you'll be able to meet, and then we'll meet with you at that time. This should
Okay, thank
go
you.
to almost noon, so sometime this afternoon
Okay, thank
would
you.
be good. You're welcome.
All right, let's see what the next item was. Creating discussion forums, changing file names. let's see, let's talk about, well, navigation. This over here is the global menu. This is your course menu. And this is your dashboard. Once you have your course pulled over, which I know, is it Kathy that asked, you have a course on your dashboard? I checked. It's not the one you want, but you click in it and then that's when you have your global menu, your course menu. This is considered a home page. And then you go into your modules and that's where you build your items. And we do have a meeting set up in December, so I can definitely go through those a lot deeper with you then. Let's see. How to create discussions. We just did that last week, so I'll work with you on that. Where was that? I'll work with you on that separately. Changing file name displays in a course. Kathy, are you here to describe what you're looking for with that? Is she here?
Well, we can go ahead and show it just as,
Yeah.
you know, so to be on the video. Do you want me to show that?
Sure. I don't know what she's talking about. If she's talking about the file name
Yeah, I'm
of
here.
something. Are you talking about the file name of something that's added in your course as
Yeah.
a file?
Yeah, like if it's listed, say it's discussion, let's just say, let's use discussions or assignments, it doesn't matter. But let's
okay.
use discussions, like frequently asked question forums or whatever. If I want discussions week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, as we just talked about grading, how do I
Mhm.
change it so it's graded in my grade book individually, or am I going to have to manually cumulative it?
Okay, so you're not talking about changing the name, you're talking about changing the grade?
Well, both. So when it pops up for a discussion or an assignment, either or, it doesn't matter which one you want to select. If I want to list it as, say, discussion, you go to discussions like week 1 and everything would be there, and week 2 and everything would be there. So as you're looking at it, you're not scrolling through each individual discussion, you're actually categorizing it where they have to go to enter that discussion. When I was looking at it and creating it, when you put a discussion in it, it all flows to one thing, and I want it separated.
Oh, okay, so in your assignment section, you could organize them all in, oh, well,
It
I
might be
guess,
that she needs to know how to put it in the right place in the module.
yeah, that could be. There's so many. Well, in here, you can choose to view it by week, so it will be in a stream. My computer's acting funny, Brian. I don't know if you could, so you can arrange it by due date. So this way it would be arranged by when you're going to be grading it or when they're going to accomplish that, and when that could be. If you want to change the name of it, you could.
Well, I guess in the main menu, where you have everything listed, the problem is I want like week 1, this is the things you have to do. Week 2, these are the things you have to do. I don't want it just all scrolled together. But to do that with my discussions, right? So you would have week 1 discussion forum and week 2. So everything's quantified by week and not just scroll through it. Or maybe I can't do that.
In the grading.
Yeah, because if I change my discussion to be graded to an assignment, then the students see it as an assignment and not a discussion. I don't want them to get confused on your assignments and your discussions.
Okay, I guess I would love to see more of an example. To change the name, you would click on here. And then you would edit the discussion and this is how you would literally change the name of it. You go into this section here. But I think your question is more about how to organize your grading.
I'm wondering if she means when you go to the plus sign and add, is she doing it as an assignment or a discussion so that it pops up with a name looking like it is a discussion or it is an assignment? Just throwing that in there because.
So if you're in your module and you click on the plus and you add a discussion, but then you create a topic and then you put the name in there this way. But your discussions are already made in your course. Do you mind if I share your sandbox?
I've got a couple of them, so it don't matter which one you share. I'm there. One's a little convoluted, but
Yeah, could you, I know you just told me what it was earlier today, but could you tell me again what the name CRC? I can't remember the name of the one.
CRJ
RJ, yeah,
1 point. That's it.
there it is. I know it was simple too, I just couldn't remember. So, this one here, could you lead me along with what you're saying? Kathy?
Sorry, I was on mute. I wasn't sure.
Oh, I was like, we lost her.
No, I'm here.
Okay, just take
so-
me where you want to go.
Okay, so normally this is where we post assignment forums.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but my assignment
No.
forum. Okay. And
Okay,
then
I see it.
my frequently asked question forums is my discussions. If I'm understanding it correctly, I have weekly discussions and they are based on your attendance and participation and etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to confuse people when they look at my FAQ forum that this is an assignment, but I want it graded individually weekly.
The facts forum?
Yes.
Okay, so a forum and a discussion in Canvas is exactly the same, is treated exactly the same way as far as the opportunity to add grading or not. So you would explain in the text here if it's graded or not. And then if you edit it, you can add the grading down here. This, if you click graded, then you can add your points.
Okay, so if I wanted to do that manually, I would just go to the grade book like normal then or if I wanted it segregated, then I would have to create that graded in there, correct?
Correct. And then you could change where it's at and you can make a new group and call it discussions or forums. And it can still have the word forum, but for you to know that all forums and discussions are the same exact grading, have the same exact grading opportunity. You just have to click graded. So this assignment forum is also a discussion, or is this an assignment? Let's see what this is. It looks like an assignment and not a discussion. Yeah, this one is actually an assignment.
Yeah, that's where
how
they
it's
post
translated.
I have an assignment forum and they post various assignments every week, or every other week, so.
Okay, and this isn't going to be shared. This assignment forum is only going to go to you.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so then that's set up the correct way. If you want grading on here, you would just add grading.
Okay,
And the forum edit, if you notice, all other edits, all other ways to edit any of the other assignments or quizzes or anything, there's an edit button here. But for a discussion, you have to go to this, we call it the kebab or the 3 little dots. You have to go here to hit edit. So that's kind of tricky.
Okay, that's what I was missing. Okay, right.
Yep. Let's see what else we have here. Oops, wrong one. All right, Brian, I'll let you take the next one. I kind of took over there.
No problem.
Let's go to the modules.
What is the next one? Do we have any in the chat? You want to check that?
I have not checked that. It's kind of hard to check that when you're in the other view. Okay, we have a lot over here, Brian. Oh, this is from the other days too. Got
Well,
it.
give me an easy one and
I'll give you an easy one. How can I view all students' grade? Okay, we got that one from Ebony. All right, there isn't any that we haven't talked about in the discussion or in the chat. So go back to the discussion.
One, if I could.
Go ahead.
On my quizzes, I need to know how to change the point value because they transferred over fine from Moodle, but the points are showing like 15 points and I want to change it to like 100 points. And I don't know how to do the changing.
Okay, I have a quiz here that's just a shell. So that way we can play with it and I'll add a question. Well, here's some details. This quiz. So we're gonna pretend like we have, I'm gonna make a question or two here and then we'll change those points. That's one. Make this multiple. Do you have multiple choice or it doesn't matter? You just want to know how to change the points.
Yes, I have multiple choice. I just want to change the total points. I guess the weight, maybe not the total points, the weight. So my quizzes have only like 15 questions, but I want the total weight to be worth 100 points.
And you use a percentage-based grading system?
Yes, I think. You can go to my sandbox if you would like.
I was just thinking that too. I was like, maybe I should go to your sandbox and.
Let's do CRJ 117.
I don't see CRJ 117. Let's see.
There it is right there. Master, CRJ Master 117. Sorry. Nope, down one.
Hold on 1 second. Yep, that's, you're right. Okay, so we go into quizzes. Brian, do you want to take this one? I just took over again.
No, you're fine. You've already got your screen shared.
Okay. Which quiz?
So go to quiz 1.
Okay.
Yeah. So in Canvas, I'll say this, to change the point value of a quiz, it's controlled at the question level. So you have to modify the points of your questions to make your quiz equal the number of points you want. Otherwise, you're going to have to do weighting in the gradebook.
Okay, so that's where I was failing because I kept trying to change the points, but I have to go into each individual question to change my points.
Yes.
All right.
And you can't do that after a student has taken a quiz. So if you publish a quiz and a student takes it, and then you realize that you didn't modify the points per question, you'll find you will not be able to change that after a student takes the quiz.
Okay. All right. That answers my question. Thank you.
And how you edit the question, how you edit the points for the questions as you go to questions. And then over here, if you noticed, if you hover over this area at all, you can click on that pencil and right here is the points. And it took me forever to find where to edit the points. I don't know why, but it's way up here in the right corner where everything else in Canvas is below. So you would think that the points would be edited down here, but it's actually up here in the upper right.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's go back to the discussion.
I see several related to grading discussions, which we've dealt with.
Yeah.
Changing file names.
Grouping, changing the order of the listings in the course. We just discussed that. Discussion
How about,
grading.
yeah, the one where you posted some from emails you got, discuss grading, assessment, analytics, and attendance.
I will let you move forward with assessment because I know that's your favorite subject.
Oh, okay. Well, so just in
that's
general,
true.
assessment is how we measure student performance. This contrasts with what we call evaluation, where in evaluation, you can include a measuring student performance component, but you also evaluate that performance. You provide information about the quality of the performance and perhaps even how to improve it. So that's something that I always like to do that. Assessment or grading in JetNet, or in Canvas, sorry, it's not called JetNet anymore, is pretty varied. You can grade, you can assess discussions, quizzes, assignments, and so on, or you can choose not to. Something that is important to know in Canvas is that anything that is graded is considered to be an assignment. So look for everything, under assignments if you want to see everything that is graded. Any of those things that can be graded can also be ungraded. You can have discussions that are ungraded. You can have assignments ungraded. You can even have quizzes that are ungraded, that they don't contribute to the grade in the course. So it's a pretty flexible tool set in terms of whether or not you want to do assessment on any given tool or not. Another thing to know about Canvas is that your assessments can be done either through students submitting things online, or you can tell Canvas, no, this is an in-class assignment, meaning that students don't have to submit something to Canvas in order for you to grade it. You can receive a paper in class, grade that paper, and use that option to create a grade item in the Canvas gradebook that allows you to enter an item without having any option for students to do an upload. This is something that sometimes confuses both faculty and students, because if you create an assignment and you include the option for students to upload something, but you don't require them to upload something, then you have this weird mishmash of students saying, hey, I submitted that in class, or here's a copy of it, and then you have multiple options or multiple things that you need to look at, and so on. So learn to manipulate that function or those functions as you create each individual task. You can declare it to be an in-class assignment, an ungraded assignment, or an online submission type graded assignment. Let's see. What else about assessment in general should people know? Anything that I'm missing there from a big picture view, Sonia?
I don't think so, as long as everyone understands that everything is considered an assignment.
Everything is considered an assignment in Canvas.
Which is a whole different way of thinking about it compared to Moodle. Where Moodle, there was the discussion or the forums, then there was quizzes, and then there was assignments. Where in Canvas, everything is an assignment, and then within the assignment, the options to have an assignment would be an assignment, a quiz, a discussion, or the external tools that are integrated that you might have in your course, which will have a lot of those vendors or publishers coming in December, the first 2 weeks of December, to work with everyone on making sure that is all set up for January. Anyone have a question on assessments?
And Christy, if you have a question on assessments, now is a good time for you to ask. Otherwise, you can ask the next question.
Mary Jo wants to know how we populate the buttons. So Mary Jo, last week I had, if you look at the videos in the course, there's a page that has all the videos from the last trainings. And so it has maybe a 5-minute show on how to create the buttons using PowerPoint. So you could create the buttons in PowerPoint, right click and save them as PNGs, and then you just pull them in, then you link right to the page that you want to. It's Canvas kind of floats you through it where it gives you the options of what other pages to choose from the buttons. If you need a little more assistance with that, I could definitely work with you on that. And I'll give a little display right now. Let me share my screen. I almost forgot to do that part. Okay. So let's see, I'll go back to the home page. So I hit edit. So this week's module is here. So I'm going to pretend, or I'm going to put a few spaces in there not to confuse things. Upload, I'm going to use one of the course images here. So I have these images done, and this is an image that I just created in PowerPoint, and I pulled it in here. So I'm using this. This is called the Rich Content Editor. This little box here. And within this, I have this home. I've added this home button, and I click on, if you click on this, it'll give you the option to put a link in there. But I like using this little drop down here where I have a course link. And let's see, I want to take this to I'm going to have this home button. I'm actually going to just tell it to go to a different module. I'm not going to use it the way the button's used. So I'm going to choose module, and then I would select, this is the module I wanted to go to. Or I can have this button go to a discussion, and I can choose which discussion. Or maybe even I want this button to represent a quiz. So then I just choose which quiz I want it to go to. Now, if you have a button and you want it to go to something outside of the course, you can click external link, and then you can paste that in there. So say I want to take it back to JetNet. I would copy that URL, and I would paste the link in here. And now if you save, well, also the accessibility checker is going to tell me, oh, this has the PNG at the end. So you take that off, hit apply. I'll get some balloons because they're so excited for me. Then I hit save, and now that image is considered a button. And it will take me back to JetUp. Does that help?
He says, thank you.
Oh, good.
All right,
Yes,
so
yeah.
the next topic
What was that,
is a
Mary Jo?
continuation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said, yep, that answered it perfect. Thank you.
Oh, okay, good. All right. I'm going to delete that so I don't have that there. Okay,
Very
go
good.
ahead, Brian.
So the next topic, and it is also from the email, and I'm going to combine the two, and that's analytics and the attendance. So let me share my screen.
Okay. Gotcha, you got it.
Why can I never remember where that share screen is in Teams?
Up at the top right, it's a rectangle right next to the
Oh,
red.
yeah,
leaf.
that says share underneath it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's sad. I might be getting old and need glasses that are stronger than the ones that I'm wearing.
Well, as long as you just get glasses and not retire, I'll be happy. So.
Okay, well, I'm not retiring yet. All right, so now you should be able to see the Canvas training repository screen. If you can't, let me know. So a question about analytics, and I'm going to combine that with the attendance because it's commonly used. So on your home page of your screen, right over here, you're going to see new analytics. Now, sadly, Canvas does not offer the same kind of detail in the logs that we were used to in Moodle, but we do have this new analytics, which does provide you kind of an extract that can be useful so you can understand student engagement in your class. And you can also use this if you don't want to create a series of tasks that have to count towards attendance. If you're just wanting to look at engagement, when the student touches the class. So when you come to the new analytics, you're going to see your average course grade, weekly online activity, etc., students and reports, etc. So I'm going to go to students, and these are all of us in this class. What it's going to show you is last page view, last participation. It shows you the percent of on time, assuming that you have assignment due dates and so on, page views, and participations. So the analytics that you can get here can show you when students are touching the course and how many page views that they have. And you can use this as kind of a crude measure of students' engagement in your class. Now, that's not as rich as we had in Moodle, and that's unfortunate because there are many instructors that we had in Moodle who were really diving into the course logs and analyzing how their students were engaging with various content pieces in the appropriate week. The problem with this is, say, for example, last page view tells you, okay, they check this one is August 29th, but it doesn't tell you what page. That could be just the home page, or it could be a page associated with some content that you provided. You really can't tell from this whether or not students have engaged with the particular module that is the module in consideration for that particular time period. Last participation, again, same thing. You can't really tell what they've done other than they have touched the course. They might have just clicked on some random pages in the course. So sadly, this is not that effective for really the discrete evaluation of student engagement or activity with your course that many instructors are using in Moodle. Now, the good news is we're getting a new tool called Dropout Detective. I don't know a lot about that yet, other than it is a tool that is designed to give a dashboard view of student engagement in classes in a way that is supposed to be more granular than this new analytics tool. So we're hopeful that that will be helpful for those instructors who are interested in using a course analysis or these kinds of analytics as a way to gauge student engagement in their week-to-week coursework, and then use that as a way to provide reports on actual attendance. So that's one way that's coming up. Otherwise, you can use this as a crude measure. Other options that you have available to you for reporting attendance is you can require students to do something every week as a way to check in. So they can log into the class, and you can have a non-graded assignment if you don't want it to impact grades, and have students report to you that they have logged in, that they have done assignments, and so on. You can also use one or more graded assignments in your course each week as a way to ensure that students are engaging with the class and therefore can be reported as present in the class. So it's up to you to determine what criteria that you want to use, and then to set your course up in a way that allows you to capture that kind of engagement or participation, or as we would call it, attendance. And that's it.
Any other questions on that? All right, our next conversation.
Now, let's see.
Well,
This would be a good time for Christy to ask a question because she says she's watching on mute. Please let me know when I can ask my questions. So, Christy, if you'd like to ask questions now, this would be a good time. We didn't lose Christy.
Maybe. Well, one question that was brought up about attendance, if we can reach back out to Christy in a second, but one question was, one of the instructors saw the attendance option in Canvas and was asking, well, I guess the question was kind of, why aren't we using something that's there? And I can't remember where the attendance was. I think it was in the analytics.
Is it? I thought maybe it might have been an assignment function.
No, I think it was in analytics. Let's see. New analytics.
I didn't see it in analytics.
Mm.
Nope, it's not there. I thought it was.
Mm. Settings, navigation. Oh, it's in the menu. Is that where it's at? Let me go to settings.
So I've got it up on my screen. Attendance
Oh.
right here. Bring it up
Oh,
into.
yeah, that's where it's at. So where Brian's at, where's Brian is at is if you go to settings and then you can go into navigation, you can see attendance if it's not showing for you. But
settings,
yep,
navigation,
navigation.
and then if attendance is not up here in the visible menus, just drag it up so that it is, and then slide down and save. And now if I go to attendance, this is a tool I have not played with.
Neither have I, because the college has decided not to use it and to use whatever form was being used before.
Well, I don't see anything there when I click on it in this course.
Yeah, it's just not set up. So
All
as
right,
Brian,
so Sonia, write that down as a question that we're going to have to, oh, it's slow. Here it's coming. We can figure out more about that. Okay, so it looks like I can mark all as present. I'll mark all, or I can do that. To me, just at first glance, it really looks like more of an attendance tool you would use in a face-to-face class rather than in an online class. I don't see and I'm basing that on, I don't see tools that it looks like I could use to tag whether or not a student has attended a session by engagement with anything in that session.
yeah, I believe that that's why it was decided long ago just to use whatever methods you were using before, whether it be a discussion or whether it be an assignment for the week. It just didn't seem to fit with what the instructors had said they needed. Okay, go back to what was requested. Christy, are you available yet to talk about what you would like to talk about?
Maybe if you send her something in the chat, it says she's watching on mute.
I will do that.
Just an idea.
Maybe she's on the phone. Let's see. Thomas, I'm gonna crucify his last name. So Thomas Beatty. I don't know if that's correct or not. He wanted to know if you can require an assignment response to be kind of like a form field. Okay, she'll be on in a minute. So he wanted to do like year, 2 digits per year, then the dash, then 2 digits per month, then the dash, then 2 digits per year. So there is no way to get that detailed in what the responses can be for the text. For a text response, you would just have to put that in your directions. So that his question is, I wonder if there is a more advanced way to format a fill-in-the-blank quiz answer. You can seem to require text or numerical answers, but I was looking to ask the question that would require it to enter a date in a specific way. And there is no way to do that other than to give the details in the text in the rich context editor. The next thing he said is, I was also wondering, when the lead faculty creates a shell of a course, do they have more editing options than we have when prepping the course? For example, I spent hours going through changing due dates and text dates on pages and various other areas.
Ooh, you want to show the bulk date change feature?
I do. 1 second, Christy. We'll be right back with you. I'm going to share a different course that has more dates. So that's in, if you go to assignments.
Yeah, and while you're getting that set up, I'll answer the question that he first asked, which is, do the lead faculty have more editing abilities? No, they do not. It's the exact same. But Sonia's going to show you a cool way to change dates.
So if you go to assignments, this is the only place where you can see this option. You click on assignments, and this is where you do your assignment grouping. And then you click on this kebabs over here, the assignment settings, and you can click edit assignment dates. And here is an area where all the graded assignments have areas to change dates. So you just select that, or available until, due at. I messed that one up. All right, so anyways, that's where you change it, and it gives you it gives you that. So if you're copying and pasting, we found if you're saying, okay, I want this here, copy, and then you paste it to another area, and you had something in there already, it wasn't changing the time also. See how I copied it to be the 12 here, and I copied that here. It did not change the time. It changed the date, but it didn't change the time. So that's quite annoying. But if you do it, copy the second time. So if you copy and paste it the first time, then go back and copy and paste it a second time, then the time will go also. We don't know why that happens, but it doesn't change the time unless you paste it twice. But it definitely is a lot easier than going through. I'm going to delete that. So it's definitely a lot easier than going through assignment by assignment and opening them up and changing the date. Going down here and changing the date for every single assignment. So there is that. I can't remember who found that, but that was a great find. Go ahead, Christy.
Good morning, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to attend 2 meetings at one time here. These are both things that we've done together before, and I've forgotten how to do them. So one thing is on our dashboard. If you go look at our courses, and there's an icon there, right, for every different class. How do we change the image for that?
Okay, so I'm going to select this Canvas training repository that we're in right now.
Yep.
And if you go all the way down to the bottom to settings.
Wait, on the far left.
The very far left, the course menu, the white one here, you go all the way to the bottom, it says settings. And then it gives you this little option here. You see where I've got the image at?
Yep.
Then there's these little kebabs right on the image.
Yep.
You click on those and you can remove the image or you can choose the image. Select choose image and upload whichever image you want.
Do I have to have that image preloaded into some repository somewhere for the course?
Nope, you can pull it right from your computer.
Okay.
This is coming right from my computer.
Okay, great. Kebabs. All right, and then the other one, and I don't know why this makes me crazy and I can't do it. Okay, so when we import a course that we've already done and we're going to go to the next semester, and I can import the course, and I know we've done this together before, but the homepage doesn't import with it, or wherever it's going, I can't find it.
Okay, so it is importing, and what's going on is you have to tell it, say that you're here, say that there's no homepage, right? You imported everything, and this is what it looks like when.
Yep.
So the trick is to hit the home page, the home button up at the top left, hit home, and then it should already be chosen. Well, I'll just go the other route. So this is what it looks like.
Yep.
You go to pages.
In the red menu, or go to
in the course menu here, you go to pages in the white menu.
Okay, in white menu. Okay.
Yeah, click pages and you won't see that page. But if you go to view all pages, then you can go through there and you can look at the name, look for the name. And I can't remember which page you have, but you look for the name of your page. You can choose any of them. Okay. So if you can see my home page, I named it home page for this course.
Okay.
And so I'm going to choose this JC Monitored template to be the home page. So let's pretend like this is the home page that I did have in the other course.
Yep.
So I'm going to scroll back down to it. I have 1,000,006 pages in here. So then over at the right here, at these kebabs here, I say use as front page.
Oh.
But that's not all. After
Okay.
that step.
But wait, there's more.
Right. This is my most annoying feature of Canvas. Is after this, it might still not be your home page. So then you have to go to choose home page here at the right.
Hold on, wait. Oh my God.
I know, it's so annoying.
If it doesn't happen, it's like having a 3-year-old and telling them 5 times, no, I need this. No.
Yes. So I'm not surprised that this is something that comes up. As soon as we started talking about Canvas, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the annoying thing, Brian. Everybody's going to ask this. So you have to tell it to choose home page.
Okay.
And then you already have JC Modern template chosen as the front page. So then you would choose this page's front page and make sure that this is the correct page. If it's not, you can change and select another, and then you hit save, and then your home page is there. But I promise you, if you moved it over, your home page is in your files of pages. You just have to tell it that it's the front page and then choose home page.
Okay, Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Brian.
Yep.
I'm going to go back to my other meeting now.
All right. Well, I'm glad we were able to help you. I'm going to change it back though. So I'm going to go to my pages, view all pages, and then I'm going to go back to home page, which is this one here.
Mm-hmm.
This home page, and I'm going to say use as front page. And since I already have which format of page, which is I'm using the front page, that's why it automatically happened. But each new course you'll have to do that with.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Sonia.
Yep. See ya.
See ya.
All right. I am looking in the forum and also in the chat, and I don't see any additional questions. So we'll just throw it out there. Anyone who's here, if you have a question, unmute and ask it, and we will attempt to answer it.
I guess I will go if nobody else does. I don't want to, I know I've already asked questions before, so I don't want to.
It's fine. There's a question that you did ask that I don't understand the question. So,
oh, what was that? I know there's one that I didn't ask that I just thought of, but what did I ask that you didn't understand?
there was one that says creating discussion forums and creating a location for assignment submissions, which we kind of went over, but not all the way. But then you said creating a location for assignment submissions that link with grading. It's the link with grading part that I'm not certain what you're asking.
I don't think that's me. I think
Oh,
it's somebody else. Are they still on here?
I'm sorry.
That's
Oh, that was
all right.
Carol.
That was Kathy
I'm so
Fitzgerald.
sorry. It was Kathy Fitzgerald that asked that. I'm so sorry, Carol.
That's all right. If Kathy's here and still has a question on it, she can go. Otherwise, I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
Okie dokie. So a surprise on when I'm grading assignments on SpeedGrader, I see students that have left me a message. And I'm going, hey, yeah, how did that happen? How did they do that? And how did I not get notified? Because somebody posted, oh, I didn't see this was 5 pages instead of 4. And I didn't see it until I went to grade, which I typically do later, you know, after the weekend. And I thought, oh, where is this message coming from? So I went to view as a student, went on the assignment to see how that student did it or other students have done it. And I can't see where they can give a message to the instructor. How that happened?
It is a way when you submit, there's a little text box that asks you if you want to leave notes. But if you are your notifications set up? Oh, I'm not. I'm kind of in Canvas, but not really right now, apparently. But you have to authenticate. So do you have your notifications set up to give you notifications if someone sends you a message?
I do it goes in my inbox if they send me a message that way. It also comes to email.
Send a message
and then I get a weekly or a daily thing because it says you've asked for, you know, notifications to come to your email, and those are typically other things. I don't see this message about an assignment until I go in to grade the assignment. But maybe there is a notification.
Yeah, maybe there's a notification setting. I'll put that on my notes to look it up.
There is a submission comment
in
the if you go to your settings, you know, in your account and then your notifications, there is the submission comment.
Okay.
And by default, that is turned off. It does not go to email. So if you want it,
can you share that on your screen, Brian?
I can.
Let me let
Brian,
go of this.
Could you also do this too? When I was in as a student view, and this makes me sound really not very bright, but I couldn't see where it said to submit. I could see where they fill out the assignment and they do all the work, but I didn't see anything that said submit. So that I wouldn't have seen that.
All right, we'll
that,
take a look at that.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I'll go to account and then notifications. That will bring you here. And this is where you can determine where you want notifications sent. So right now, notifications are off for all of these things. So if you go down to here, submission comment, you can see right now that notifications are off. I can put it to notify immediately if I wanted it sent to my email.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So now if we look at an assignment.
I think Jamie's brother was professional development assignment.
I have him right here.
So I'm going to interject for a second for professional development. No, I know, but just for professional
Christy,
development.
is that you? Are we hearing your other meeting?
Often bring people that you can write that you attended a conference event. And Zane's brother talked, what, last week, 2 weeks ago? Last week.
I think we're hearing Christy's
great
meeting.
job, and that's something you put down for
We're
professional
hearing
development.
somebody's background.
He does high energy physics, so, or nuclear physics. But.
Radiation.
So,
He was
but
all over the
I do want to say, it is
Sonny,
really.
can you send her like an email
Yeah,
or
Carol
a
just
message? And
It would
messaged.
behoove
Try
you
that.
to show up at events that we have, and they're online
All right,
mostly,
so
so I think it's too
while
hard to
you're
do
doing that.
This next, yeah, well, the
Oh, she's muted.
So if I go to student view,
I guess I could have
and
muted her
I
too.
don't have an assignment, so let me leave student view. Let me publish and publish. So if I go to this assignment and I'm in student view, I can add a comment, send comment, student view.
I don't see how did you get that again? Where you left a comment?
Okay, hang on. I want to do that.
Okay.
And
okay.
then I'm going to make this an online submission.
Yeah, okay. That would be helpful.
All right. So now if I go to student view, let's take a look at this. So if I go to not discussion, I'll go to assignment 1. I type this in here. There. And then right down here, submit assignment. See that? And then the comment is right up here, add comment. So when the student is doing it, they can say, I have a problem.
Mine
And then they
doesn't
can
look like that.
send that to you.
Okay.
And then in this particular thing, since this is a text submission, it doesn't allow a file upload. I type in my submission here, and then I can click submit assignment.
You know, as I look at yours, I'm seeing all the right boxes. I'm seeing the submit. And on mine, it must be there because the students have done the assignment. But when I go into the student view, I don't see that submit. I don't see that add comment. I might have to do it privately because I have students in my course. So I'd love to show you.
Yeah, let's do that when we're not recording.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right. Any other questions? Let me check. Teams. Nope, I don't see any additional questions there. And we've covered all of the ones that I have. Sonia, can you think of any questions that someone didn't ask that they should have asked? Like, what's the burning question that we have for the week that people keep asking about but we didn't cover it here.
One item that is repeatedly asked is, how do I copy a course? The leads want to know how to copy a sandbox into a production shell.
Well, I can show that. Let me leave student view. And you can ignore this part right here. I'm going to create an empty course shell. Now I'm going to go to that course. So as the instructor, you would see this course in your dashboard. You would navigate to it. And then what you're going to do is at the home page, so you're going to make sure you're here at the home page, you're going to click Import Existing Content. You're going to, in this Import Content interface, you're going to select Copy a Canvas Course. And then you're going to put in the name of it. You will find the course that you want to copy. You will tell it all content, and then you click import. So again, home. Over here on the right in this course menu, you're going to click import existing content. Select copy a Canvas course. Navigate to that course by typing, or I prefer to copy and paste. You're going to tell it to do the complete or include completed course. So it's
Brian,
that one. Yes.
on that little orange box, it says importing the same. What does that mean? Does that mean once I copy it, it will do away with the course I'm copying?
No. So let's look at that. So if I import this right now, you'll see that the course copy is started and it's going to be running. So we'll let that run for a while. Eventually it will be complete, and then we'll see that that course is now in this empty shell. Then if you try to import again, that warning is there, because if you do another import, it will not erase it. It will just add additional content in there. So if you don't heed that warning, you can end up copying the contents of your master course, or what we used to call master, a sandbox or source now, twice, and the content would be doubled up. That's what that is telling you.
Okay, thank you.
So now it says completed. If I go to home, here is my home page, see, and I have a whole bunch of stuff in modules, all of that stuff. So now if I go back to home and if I import complete Canvas course, and let's just say I'm going to do that one, all content. See, it's telling me importing the same course content will overwrite existing content. Ah, overwrite. That's interesting. I have not paid attention to that because I guess I'm not reading all of these little warnings like I should. So it says it will overwrite existing content in the course, and that's not my experience.
If it's named the same name, it will overwrite it. If it's not named the
That's
same
what I'm
name, then
inferring.
it will duplicate. It will have two
Right.
copies of the same thing if you changed the name.
That's the right answer. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sonia.
Yeah.
And thank you for the good question. Any other burning important questions?
I would love to, since we still have a half an hour, if we could give a explanation of what a source course and introduce that. It will be another series will start on November 11th.
Yeah, very, very good topic to bring up, very topical. In fact, I've just seen some email related to this. So in the past, in old JetNet Moodle, we had three different types of classes that were not actual classes. We had the sandbox class. The sandbox class is a shell that starts out as an empty shell given to you so that you can start building a class, or you can play around with new ideas. You can test things out. We have that in Canvas now. Everyone has sandboxes. We also saw a need for a class that would be the clean version of a sandbox that would be used by default when a course copy for an adjunct needed to take place. We called that a master course back in the day. Well, a couple of years ago, we were talking about this in a variety of groups, and that was when we were starting to really become aware of the need to make sure that courses were of very high quality and that there was some consistency between what adjuncts taught and the expectations of the lead faculty member. Because what had happened was previously, because we didn't have this, not every course had a master course created by the lead instructor. So there were a lot of adjuncts who were creating their own sandboxes and copying those term to term to term. And what we found in some disciplines, not all, and but widespread enough to be of concern, is that over time, those sandboxes created by adjuncts were drifting away from the materials, even sometimes the textbooks and the assessments that the lead faculty had originally indicated for that course, to ensure that all students who take the same course, no matter what section it is, have a similar assessment so that the lead faculty in the institution can be assured that every student is being assessed on the course outcomes that were approved by the curriculum committee and deans and so on. So at that time, we created a new type of course called the source course. And a source course is a more rigorously evaluated version of a master course, and it is by default the one that will be used for course copies. Going forward, Canvas has a feature called blueprinting, which is kind of an automated import process. And we'll be moving to that with source courses. So here's the difference. Sandbox is anything goes. A master course is where the lead faculty says, this is the one I want my adjuncts to use. The source course takes that a step further. It is initiated or created by the lead faculty member. But in addition to the lead faculty member, there is a template-driven or a rubric-driven peer review process to ensure, especially for online classes, that the course is of good quality, and we can verify that to accrediting bodies and others that we're using kind of an industry standard process for evaluating course shell quality. So that peer review process is in place, and we also have an ADA or an accessibility review, because we don't want to get sued, or if we get sued, we don't want to lose millions of dollars. We're taking the next step up and ensuring that those source courses, which will be the courses that are copied into all adjuncts live or production versions, have had an acceptable level of review for accessibility for students with disability needs. Luckily now with Ally, that step has gotten so much easier, but we still will have a process for a peer review and revision, and then the accessibility will be done now by Ally instead of especially trained individual spending hours poring over every single document, PowerPoint, file, etc. in a course to ensure that they all meet accessibility requirements. Once a course goes through the source course process where that review takes place and then the accessibility review takes place, then it becomes a source course, and then that is the course that can be blueprinted to sections of courses of the same name eventually as we're moving towards that process. And as Sonia mentioned, we're going to begin a new source course class where lead faculty will be invited to participate and to have that time to learn more about the process of converting a sandbox course or an old master course that's been copied over into Canvas into this new more improved version of source course that will be used going forward.
There is a stipend for lead faculty, and there's also, I wanted to make sure we mentioned that there's 10 spaces available starting on that November 11th, but everyone's invited to join to join the first class of that. There's usually 4 meeting times. And what else did I want to mention?
How much is the stipend? Is it $1 million?
It is $1 million. Actually, I believe it's 500 per lead.
And you only get that for one course, and then that teaches you the process, and then you're expected to do the rest of your courses without that extra stipend. So it is a one-time stipend.
It is, and the hopes, and I think kind of the expectation Jeremy had explained to Brian and I is that whoever does participate in this would help facilitate the source course process of helping other lead faculty move through this process and
right.
volunteer
because eventually
to be a peer.
Jeremy will stop paying that stipend. You know, that's kind of a short-term incentive, but the expectation will be that lead faculty will continue to create source courses as new courses happen or as courses need to be updated. But at some point, as with most things, it will just become part of the regular duties, and there won't be that incentive stipend available.
And the next thing is if we could give a little tour of, well, explain what the repository kind of is and give a little tour of where they can see the modules and what's coming up next and where they can find the videos.
That sounds great. Do you want me to do that, or do you want to do that?
I'll let you, since you've got the screen. Go ahead.
All right. So looking at, and I am still sharing the screen, looking at our course, Sonia has this nice go to this week's module. So every week she updates that so it goes to this week's module. But if you just go to modules, or if you scroll around in here, you're going to see that there are additional modules. So if you want to know about upcoming training dates, that's right here at the very top. There is a discussion board here if you're interested in participating there. Here are some of the next trainings that are coming up. You can see all of those there. And
each module has a
variety of training materials.
Right, they have the register here discussion, which a lot of people have asked how can they prove that they are participating? So that would be, we will be reporting to Karen and Tom who's participating by who's participating in that first discussion. And then there's, after the discussions, there's the meeting link. And then after the link, there's resources that we find that pertain to the subject that we're talking about that week. So if you need a little more help, or if you've missed the meeting, you could look at the resources that are within the week's module. And then we keep the module, the most relevant module for that week, we keep that up at the top until the end of the week, and then we'll move. So if you look, you'll see week 2 and week 1 are down below week 3. So next week we'll move week 4 up at the top.
So,
and we have things published that we've already talked about, and then the things that are not published you can't see because we don't have them published.
All of these are not published.
And we'll publish as it comes. And if you guys need anything, just ask us and we'll make sure that we add those in the modules.
Yeah. And then if you look here, there are some demos and other materials. These are available to you in the modules down near the bottom. And some are not published, so I guess I could go to student view.
Yeah, anything else that has been asked has been very course specific. So those are just the things that are normally asked, but
And then, I guess, you
Yeah,
might want
those
to
are
know
the videos. Yeah.
previous videos. Those are the videos that we've created are here in this course that are linked in that module. So you've got orientation, homepage and commons, assignments, course management, conferences and collaborations, student view, assignment types, and then coming soon. Oh, coming soon. Those are topics that are coming up, but the ones that we've done are here. They no longer say coming soon. They're actually there.
Brian, if you go to Studio, can you see the previous videos that Canvas recorded? Because I uploaded them there. I was just wondering if anybody else can see them or if it's just me.
I believe I'll see my studio, not yours, right?
Well, I shared it in the course, so I was hoping you could see all of them. Oh, good, you can see them.
Yep,
So these
there
are the
they
ones
are.
that we've recorded and Canvas has recorded. I've been uploading them as I can, so those will be filled in there also. So the plan for the repository is to continue sharing trainings using this course and keep this open. So if anybody needs any help, and also for you guys to reach out to each other through this and keep a forum going.
Speaking of
Which would be here.
studio, oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Speaking of studio, I have an H5P that still worked this go round, but I heard that I've got to change that and to redo that with using studio. Is that like right now? Did I have to do that?
Well, before January, it would have to be done. And there's a couple different ways to do that using Studio, where if you add your video to Studio, you can add the questions to Studio, but it won't translate. You'll have to create the questions anew or add the questions again in Studio. And one thing that I think it was Heather Rotofsky found that when you add it to an assignment, it might not, like they would have to click on it an extra click to open the video to have the questions show. So some directions would have to be there for the student because it's not very obvious that you have to click on it to open it. But what another option would be is to add that video to a quiz, to the rich content editor in a quiz form, and then ask the questions below. You can,
Okay.
there's a couple different ways you can add that video there. If you use Studio or the quiz.
Okay, that's a good idea. I better get working on that. Thank you.
Yeah, just figure out which one you like the best.
Okay.
I myself don't really have a preference. I would prefer just to stay the H5P way. Not have to
But
translate
we
it.
can't do that, right?
No.
Can we do that? No, we can't, right?
No,
we can't.
H5P is going
Oh, okay.
away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just being a crybaby, that's all.
Me too. Okay.
Any other questions? Anyone want to show off something that they've done, that they've achieved, that they just want to share? That was a good try, but it didn't happen. Go ahead, Carol, you have something to share?
No, nothing that fancy.
Oh.
I'm still working through it. You guys are so helpful with our questions. But I did want to say to Brian, I went into an assignment I was talking about where I couldn't see where you upload and give feedback. I did find a little feedback button, but I don't think I see the upload or the submit because it's already due. It's past the due date. Would that be right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's why. Thank you. So,
Thank you for following up on that. I was puzzling, like, why would she not see it? I had all these strange things as a possibility. I overlooked that very simple one.
yep, so overdue. All right, thank you.
Excellent. All right, well, not getting any more questions, I think it's probably appropriate that we end this session and wish everyone a very good day. And I hope you enjoy this beautiful fall weekend that we're going to have. Enjoy the colors.
Yes, thank you all for coming and your questions.